Well, I'm going to do this one a little differently. So normally I don't read the whole article out. This one, I think I'm just going to read the article to you, and you react to it however you like.
Okay, so I get to be the standard React YouTuber. Chat. Wow, chat. Wow.
Not hopefully less vapid.
I get to be XQC today. I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled. I can't wait to start my right-wing grifting arc like Debuscus.
I don't know who Debuscus is, and I feel like I'm happy about that fact.
One of the oldest...
Do not inform me. I do not wish to know. Last time we had a conversation like this, I ended up learning who Asmongold was. So fuck you.
How did you not know, given what you cover?
What, Asmongold?
Yes.
I don't know. I just never came across him before you told me who he was.
That's fair enough. Now you know who Asmongold is.
Yeah, and I wish I didn't, because he is disgusting.
Lack of showers.
And brushing teeth.
Mist in the YouTube chat says, what's your opinion on Mall Shadow Lord so far? Have not watched it. Saki and I were catching up on Ganosia and Invincible.
I just started watching Walking Dead, and the other day I got to the episode where Rick is like, hey, the CDC was working on a cure for this, so, like, if anything's going to still be around, it's going to be the CDC, because the government would definitely have protected it with all its possible resources, because it's the most important thing. And I'm just sitting there like...
Not anymore.
No, the Trump government would have invited the walkers into the State of the Union address to prove that the virus isn't harmful.
Yep, given that one, the CDC scenario didn't happen in the comics. That was something that was made for the TV show. And two, we have so much more context for how fucked our government situation with the CDC is now.
I'm also fairly certain that the CDC buildings don't have, like, an emergency blow the building up if we lose power failsafe. That feels like something that would not exist.
CJ Sonic says, did you like my sword? Guy is a right-wing grifter. Damn, wasn't that Tobuscus? Yeah, do you like my sword as Tobuscus?
Oh, and I did watch the Ducks having sex, the Sex with Ducks video after last week's stream, and it was charming. I enjoyed it. I will not be playing it on stream because of copyright stuff, but it was charming. Anyway, let's actually do this article thing, shall we?
Absolutely. Where are we at?
We are talking about the lonely world of MAGA gay men.
Oh, I saw this article. I haven't read it yet, but I know about it. So where are we at?
You will have it read to you. When Evan decided it was time to tell his boyfriend that he voted for Trump, he couldn't get the words out. I was stuttering for 20 minutes straight on the phone, he told Uncloseted Media and Gay Times. More like 20 minutes gay, am I right?
God fucking damn it. More like, don't you mean more like 20 minutes in heaven? If it's in the closet, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay. Once he finally worked up the courage, he was met with pushback. He made fun of me. He called me a racist and a white supremacist, says Evan.
Yeah, because you voted for the guy who is those things. I'm sorry.
Yes, he's a 21-year-old math major who lives in Long Island, New York. That pushback isn't unusual. According to a 2023 Pew Research Center survey, 83% of queer men typically vote Democrat. One key reason gay men swing left in 2026 is because of the Trump administration and MAGA-aligned politicians' track record on LGBTQ issues, you'll think.
So, have you seen, because this is something I'm going to be covering in an episode, or I already covered it. Sorry, I'm dumb. I covered this yesterday. Have you seen Matt Walsh's homophobic crash out on fucking Twitter?
I have not.
So, okay. So there's a bunch of gay MAGA, obviously. Like, we know that they exist. This is what the log cabin Republicans are. That's the actual Texas unit of gay Republicans that tried to be MAGA, but you know, it ain't working so well for them anymore. So that contingent started trying to put the screws to Matt Walsh on Twitter, saying, because Matt Walsh was trying to say that I'm against surrogacy, and they started to put the screws on him saying, well, hold on, you're against surrogacy, so you don't want gay people to have the ability to raise kids. And he goes, no, absolutely not. Okay, so you're against surrogacy, you're against gay people raising kids, you're against gay marriage too, right? Yep, absolutely. And you're against people having marriage out of wedlock, right? Absolutely. So you want every gay man to be
I know you meant
celibate
sex
forever?
out of wedlock, but having marriage out of wedlock
Yeah,
is...
sorry. Sex out of wedlock. And that was like, absolutely. And they go, okay, cool. So you want every gay person to be celibate forever? And he just went, yes. That's what I want. I want the world where none of them get to know love, basically. And I'm just like, oh, and you guys are just now realizing that he's a miserable sack of shit that doesn't want what's best for all of you? You just now learned this? None of you have been paying attention. Every one of you is stupid. All of them.
So with apologies, I know you guys are probably going to start hearing cars drive past, because I don't know why my furnace is on right now. The temperature is set to 17 degrees, and it's currently reading 21 degrees, so there's no reason it should be trying to heat anything up. But it's really hot in here, so I just opened my window. Continuing on. Since the start of Trump's second term, his administration has terminated more than $1 billion worth of grants to HIV-related research, removed the pride flag from the Stonewall National Monument, and shut down the LGBTQ-specific option on the 988 Youth Suicide Hotline.
And notice how I'm not surprised about even a single fucking one of these things.
No, I'm pretty sure we covered at least 2 of those things.
I remember in 2016, the gays for Trump, and I remember being confused about it then. And that was when I was just coming out of a more right-wing conservative shell, and I was confused then.
Yeah, no, when I was right-wing, I definitely would have been confused about gay people agreeing with me, because I'm like, my whole, like, one of my positions is that you guys aren't allowed to get married. Why would you want to align yourself with me?
Milo Indianapolis starting a conversion therapy camp slowly enters the chat.
So because of this, many of the fewer than 1 in 5 LGBTQ men who cast their ballots for Trump in 2024 face judgment for their political affiliation.
Good.
Nick Duncan, 43, can relate to Evan's fears about being an open Trump supporter. I mostly get hatred. I've never lost a conservative friend because I'm gay, but I've lost all of my gay friends because I'm conservative.
Right, so the reason for that, my good bitch, is because the conservative friends have nothing to lose for you being gay. They don't stand to have any aspect of their life fundamentally changed. However, when you vote for the person that wants to rip their rights away, their lives are fundamentally changed by that choice. Do you see how this works here? One person, the fucking wind doesn't blow a different way one way or the other for them based on your choice, but for the other choice, it actually does change the way the wind blows. You see the significance of that, you fucking moron? Anyway.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. So he's a hospitality executive who lives in Miami. I've divorced myself from what I refer to as the alphabet mafia. I love how he's saying that as though he's the one that came up with that term.
I've divorced myself from the alphabet mafia. No, you haven't. You're still gay.
He's divorced himself from what he calls the alphabet mafia.
You think that term means a particular contingent of the LGBTQ community, but I promise you, when you dig in and actually use the Socratic method and try to figure out what a Republican means by that term, you will eventually get to the point where it just becomes, that's my view of gay people. Like
I would just like to point out that both of my chats are just completely filled with people talking about leopards and faces. I wonder why that could be.
Yeah, it's the most common phrase in this scenario for a reason.
I mean, the leopards ate my face Blue Sky account is where I first heard of this article, so it tracks. Despite these concerns, Duncan doesn't hide his political views when looking for love. I'm in a long-term relationship now, and when I have been on the dating market, I'm very open and upfront about who's gifting subs.
I mean, I'm very happy that he's open and upfront about the fact that he's a self-destructive moron, but like, anybody who wanted to find that person could just date an alcoholic.
Oh, Conton83 gifted 8 tier 1 subs, so we're gonna have a bunch of ooh-woos happening while I am...
Also, Sylvie, thank you so much for gifting a sub.
Thank you for that, Conton. I appreciate it. And that started a hype train. So everybody keep interrupting me to keep the hype train going or something, I guess. I'm a good streamer. I'm in a long-term relationship now, and when I've been on the dating market, I'm very open and upfront about my political views. So I think it just weeds out most people who would have an issue.
You can date other not very stable alcoholics, but it doesn't mean that your dating pool is getting any better.
I mean, to be fair, I also posted, like, when I was in the dating market and using Tinder, I got sick and tired of like matching with people and then being ghosted as soon as they found out that like I am okay with vaccines, or I don't think gay people should be treated as second-class citizens, or trans people exist, and they ghost me. So eventually, like as I kept on matching with people and then having them ghost me over these stupid things, like my profile got longer and longer with all of the things that was like, okay, well, that person ghosted me because of this, so I'm going to put that in my profile. This person ghosted me because of that, so I'm going to. So I get it, and then I matched with my partner now, who was like, ooh, those are all the green flags.
Like, the thing is, it's fine as a matter of practice to be open and honest about who you are with the people that you are trying to date. That is it. That's just a good sign. That's a good thing to do. Not hide. It's good to be dating and not be hiding your power level. That's fine. However, much like with being open and honest about any shortcoming one might have, being open and honest about I'm a self-destructive alcoholic or a self-destructive drug abuser, that does not make it any better. I'm glad you were honest, but it doesn't mean that you've improved the situation for either of us here in any meaningful way. I know that you have self-destructive habits, like voting for somebody who wants to strip your rights away. That sounds nightmarishly dumb. I'm at least glad you were open about how dumb you are.
Yep. For Evan, political differences have been a source of tension in his relationship even before he told his boyfriend who he voted for. When I first met him, he asked me if I liked Trump. He was kind of scaring me, so I said, I don't know, Evan recalls. He said, good answer, because if you said yes, I couldn't even talk to you.
That should have told you not to be with him in the first place, shouldn't it?
Probably.
Like, that's the moment where you realize y'all were incompatible.
It's like, yeah, we have this irreconcilable difference, so maybe I shouldn't even try to make this work.
Like, it's okay to recognize that. That's fine. That's healthy. That you two have a thing that you cannot... There's a circle y'all can't square. And you know what? That's fine. That's called being human. It is the most human thing you can discover.
Since revealing his conservative identity, Evan has had multiple arguments with his boyfriend about politics. This guy who I've been dating for almost a year, he's way too far left. The first proof is he thinks there's more than two genders, says Evan. I tried telling him there were only two genders, and he got mad at me.
You didn't figure any of that out earlier in the relationship? How? How did you not figure any of that out? What?
New hat time. Thank you, Content 83.
Lenari says the boyfriend didn't up and leave, baby, run. So,
I'm confused about that as well.
I will say this. I can respect anybody that sees the shortcomings of a person and also sees their potential and wants to stick around and try to help them grow as a person. I don't think that that is a bad thing. Just like how none of us owe being part of anybody's healing journey, none of us owe that to anybody. Likewise, it's okay for somebody to want to be there during part of somebody's healing journey. That's equally valid. However, you have to recognize that that is what you're doing. You have to be able to recognize that you are, in fact, there dealing with a person who has a self-destructive habit.
I'm just like, how good is the sex that you're willing to tolerate this bullshit at this point? Like, a year into a relationship that is still short enough that it's like, okay, your lives probably aren't completely intertwined at this point. Get out while it's still easy, basically. And this is where the article starts to get snarky. It says, though Evan believes there are only two genders, research suggests that gender is a spectrum allowing for multiple gender identities. According to a 2025 report from Pew Research Center, 71% of LGBTQ adults view the Republican Party as unfriendly towards LGBTQ Americans. I'm surprised that that is so low.
I think...
How are 30% of LGBTQ adults like, yeah, no, the Republican Party is totally friendly to us?
I think it's more that it's the apolitical people who go, well, I don't know and I don't want to know. That would be my guess.
The people who consider themselves enlightened centrists like Joe Rogan.
The people who, when you say the word Tobuscus, say they don't want to know who it is. Yeah, those people.
Dark Falcon says, man, learning about how many genders mushrooms have must render these types of conservatives catatonic. Sexes. strictly speaking, mating types. Sex and gender are very different. Mushrooms do not have the capacity to have gender identities.
Nope, because as far as we know, they do not have any social scale. Not the way that we understand it.
Yeah. Duncan thinks these critiques are unreasonable. The Republican Party is not nearly as anti-gay as leftists believe, he says. The Trump administration has plenty of openly gay people in the administration.
Yeah,
and
they've
Trump
got plenty of black friends, and whatever.
And Trump actually supported gay marriage before it was cool.
Right, and then he joined the party that actively is against it.
You want to hear Trump's statement that actually is supporting of gay marriage?
Sure, why not?
So it's in the article, so let's just keep reading. Gay members of the Trump administration include Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, as well as Tony Fabrizio, a pollster and strategist. Additionally, Trump did tell The Advocate in a 2000 interview that though the institution of marriage should be between a man and a woman...
Oh, okay, so it wasn't actually...
He thinks amending the Civil Rights Act to grant the same protection to gay people that we give to other Americans is only fair. So, I believe that marriage should only be between a man and a woman, but we should amend the Civil Rights Act to give gay people the same rights. Like, that's not really support of gay marriage.
Yeah, that's not support. That's the I disagree with your ideology, but I want to share the room with you type of stuff, which, like, again, has its place. It is a valid way to operate if you want to have less friction, but it's the kind of thing that only creates a negative piece. Like, congratulations, you are on the side of people who at best can only have a negative piece with you. That's not healthy. That's double plus unhealthy.
Yeah. But since then, Trump has appointed Supreme Court justices who have denounced marriage equality and cabinet members with anti-LGBTQ track records, including Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, and Pam Bondi. Duncan says part of the reason he isn't worried about Trump's anti-LGBTQ track record is because he doesn't view being gay as the most important part of his identity. The most important part of who I am is as a father. Right,
but they want you to lose the ability to be that.
Yeah.
They want to take away your... They view it as... to quote fucking Matt Walsh, they view gay parents having a kid as a form of human trafficking.
I mean... Given this guy's age, it is entirely possible that this is a kid that he had while he was in the closet and got married to a woman in his younger years before divorcing and living the gay life. So that is a possible scenario here. It doesn't actually tell us where the child came from.
The gay life of Zach and Cody.
There you go. But yeah, the most important part of who he is as a father. And he's voting for the people that want him to not have that ability.
Yeah, your most important aspect of yourself is a thing that Matt Walsh says you should not do because it makes you an abomination. And you don't see any problems here. I feel as though somebody in this conversation has not thought through their ideology or their allies or much of anything.
Yeah, so Duncan is not alone. A 2020 report from the UCLA Williams Institute School of Law found that Republican lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are more likely to feel connected to other parts of their identities than their sexual orientations. Problem is, the other parts of your identities are permeated by your sexual orientation.
And, like, again, it's not that you have to make it a huge part of who you are. It's okay to not make it a huge part of who you are. Whatever. I don't care. I can't tell you what to do. But I can say that the type of person that says those words is often the type of person who is saying that as a form of cope because they feel like they've had to change the way they operate about themselves.
Oh, speaking of enlightened centrist Joe Rogan... Evan's desire to be seen as normal rings of Vice President J.D. Vance's 2024 comments on Joe Rogan's podcast, where he said Trump could win the normal gay vote. During the same interview, Vance suggested that parents of genderqueer children use their children's identities as a rejection of having white privilege. Vance received significant backlash for these comments, with Human Rights Campaign responding to the Vice President's remarks over X, Twitter. The
artist formerly known as Twitter.
Not even that, but parents of genderqueer children use their children's identities as a rejection of having white privilege. What does that even mean?
So, okay.
Is that like I have white privilege, so I'm going to make my kids be gender queer so that I can be part of the victimized group?
It's either that or them trying or them saying, hey, as a person who believes in the concept of white privilege, you believe that more power should be handed to a minority group, so you claim a fake minority group in order to gain that status. That's how I interpret that.
I mean, either way, it's kind of bullshit. Like, I
is.
have genderqueer kids. I did not push them into it. I just let them be themselves, and they fell into it because that's who they are.
Did Timmy fall into the queer lassie?
He did. My middle child, the way they came out to me as non-binary was just like so quintessentially them.
I'm non-binary.
Jessa says the quell.
The quell.
Yeah, so the way my middle child came out to me was they went to a group session thing, and everybody had name tags, and on the name tags was a spot for pronouns, and they wrote they them in the pronoun thing. But like this was like parents drop them off and then leave sort of thing. So like I dropped them off and I left, and then I got back to pick them up, and they were just wearing the name tag with they them pronouns on it, and they're just kind of like walking in a way to like make it obvious for me to see it, but they weren't saying anything about it.
Dad,
like, okay,
look.
It's like, okay, so they want me to know this thing, but they don't want to tell me this thing. Okay, I got it.
I mean, when you're learning how to socialize, you find ways to do it. You find a way that feels safe. Whatever way you feel safe coming out of the closet is a perfectly valid way to do it, unless it involves a gun.
Well, I mean, if it involves a gun and the closet you were in happened to be like in a certain person's bedroom that I'm not going to name because I don't want the stream to get taken down for threats of violence or whatever.
I mean, you could always come out with a cult to just say, I'm here, I'm queer, and you look like a deer. Like, at that point, yeah, it's probably not a valid way to do it, because I'm assuming somebody's getting shot, but...
Depending on who it is, I still consider it valid.
Be careful. There's that girl that got arrested recently for saying Netanyahu bombed my school in a group chat.
I should have been arrested.
Yeah?
So, tangent from the article. Remember how last week I was like, I think I want to pay this company to talk to AI Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
I paid that company to talk to AI Jesus. And the way the conversation went, like, it never actually came out and endorsed violence, but it came... There was definitely a moment where there was an implication of, like, as long as I have the zeal of God in my heart, it's okay. And the way I got it there, though, was, like, the questions I was asking was such that, like, if this company actually has any sort of safety things in place, they should have called the police on me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
but it's
100%.
It's an AI company.
It sounded like I was about to go and shoot up a church.
Like, it's an AI company. They're not going to set things up to protect anything because they don't have morals.
As soon as I went down that line of questioning, I'm like, oh shit, what if this is the one AI company that actually reports shit like this to the cops?
Nah. You're always safe.
I'm still here. It's been several days now, so...
So you're sitting there going, I'm still standing.
Yeah.
I mean, Thrag says, why does
as long as I get the video done and published, that can be my defense in court. See, I was just doing it for content.
Thrag says, why does the quality of the articles look blurry? So it's just what Zoom does.
It's Service's fault.
We have no control over it.
Zoom has an automatic AI enhance feature that actually makes things harder to read because it's trying to guess what the words are instead of just letting it show.
Can we turn it off? Is that a thing I can do?
Not that I'm aware of. Because
I'm not going to lie, this is the most hilarious thing for me to see. I'm sending this to you on Discord because it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Look at that text.
Yeah.
It looks fake.
It's still readable mostly.
Yeah, mostly, but it's like the platonic non-ideal of readable text.
Scott Delahunt says, zoom and enhance. Ba-dum-ts. Anyway, where was I? Okay, back to the article. For Chris Doan, 56, voting Republican is the only choice that makes sense, as he believes voting for a Democrat goes directly against his interests as a queer man.
What? But what?
Oh,
How?
we'll get there. We'll get there.
How?
This takes a turn, Cirrus. This takes a turn.
I don't want anybody to take turns here anymore. I don't think anybody in this story fucking deserves it.
He says, conservatives don't want to murder gays, they want them saved, he says. Muslims vote Democrat because if the Democrats win, they get to stay in the United States, they get to take power, and they will murder gays brutally with a smile on their face, says Doan.
That's what they think is gonna... Is he the kind of person...
That's why he votes Republican.
He votes Republican because he hates brown people because he thinks brown people want to throw him off of a fucking building.
He votes for the party whose morals are most in alignment with Sharia law in order to avoid the Muslims taking over and implementing Sharia law. And yes, I know the word Sharia means law, so technically I'm saying law when I say that. Fuck you, I don't care, pedant.
ATM machine.
Doan's comments are... Okay, and the article claps back. Doan's comments are unfounded and display racist stereotypes peddled by far-right American media. One study from the Brennan Center for Justice compiled data from 1984 to 2020 and found that racial resentment is more prevalent on the right than on the left. Shocker.
And this is where somebody goes, but you don't understand. I'm not being racist. I'm being against a religion. That's different. Well, hold on. When you think of a Muslim, what picture comes in your brain? And I promise you, it is not a white person.
Not a white person. Lots of white Muslims, though. Mm-hmm. Though Doan and other gay Republicans hold a range of views, a common thread is a hesitancy around trans rights. Of course it is. So they align more with the Trump administration, which has railed against the trans community with Trump's policies and rhetoric. For example, Doan sees being able to transition as a matter of personal freedom, but thinks gender-affirming care for trans kids is a step too far.
Right, but does he know what gender-affirming care for trans kids looks like? Because
he absolutely does not.
Because anytime somebody says that, their problem is with surgeries happening to minors. And now I will grant this tiny pebble. There are some instances of people getting top surgery as young as 15.
Yeah, and most of them are cis boys.
Yeah, like
98% of them.
It's a thing that technically, by the strictest definition of the word, happens, TM. But
actually, I would actually, I don't know what the numbers are on this, but I would suggest that the most common gender-affirming surgery that's performed on minors is circumcision.
Well, that's fucking cheating, but yes.
It is cheating. Is it not gender-affirming cosmetic surgery?
It is cosmetic surgery that is primarily done to people with, or that can only be done to people with penises, but that's like, I view it more as a form of mutilation.
Yeah, so do I.
So I don't think that I don't think those words work.
Like there are very few medical reasons to do it, so it is entirely cosmetic. Almost entirely. There are like very, very rare conditions for which the treatment is a circumcision. Mm-hmm. But like that's not the kind of circumcision I'm arguing against here.
Usually it has to do with issues of like bacterial infections.
And you know what's crazy though is anytime I've had these conversations where like people bring up the legitimate medical reasons to get circumcised, for some reason, the same people that don't understand that gender-affirming care is this very nuanced thing
suddenly get into the nuances of circumcision.
Suddenly nuance matters and like, oh yeah, no. I know like 99% of circumcisions are completely unnecessary, but here in this 1% of cases, that's like these are necessary. So we need to tolerate the 99% for the sake of the 1%. Like, no, you just do the ones that are necessary and don't do the other ones.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want a world where we are more responsible with how we approach gender-affirming care with minors, and we can both be on the side, not you and me, obviously, but me and insert Republican here, we can both be on the side of we want this to be done responsibly, and sometimes the responsible thing is to not do it at all. But for us to find out which situations we should do it in, we need to be able to do it so we can do studies on it, you fucking knobs! Mm-hmm. This is like everybody who has like a really, really strong opinion about weed But then when you look at all of the studies we've been able to do on weed, we don't have, or classically, we hadn't had a lot of them because it was illegal everywhere in the United States, so who the fuck are you gonna survey?
When it comes to transgender, I have nothing against that. I just believe that when you make that transition, it should be at a point where your brain is fully developed and you're actually going to enjoy that transition, he says.
Right, that flies in the face of the research that we've done like when it comes to gender-affirming care.
If you want people to enjoy the transition, you got to do it before puberty.
I mean, not
saying that if it happens after puberty, you're not going to enjoy it, but like...
Your chances get infinitely higher if you don't have to go through the puberty that you do not want. Like, that's just how that's what the puberty blockers are for. That's what their job is. The puberty blockers buy you 5 years.
Now we get into the stay out of my pants section of the article.
Wait, what?
He also holds the view that for a trans person to be accepted as their correct gender, they must fully physically transition.
What if they can't afford it?
And I love this. He uses transgender as a verb here. If you're gonna transgender all the way. If you've still got male parts on you, you don't belong in the women's dress room.
So you realize that the thing that causes rape is not the penis, right? The penis does not cause the rape. The person causes the rape. It's so weird that the party that doesn't understand, or that tries to make me understand that it's the person that does the gun violence, not the gun, can't seem to understand that it's the person that does the rape, not the fact that there is a penis there.
Yeah, but if you look at that party and what all the people with penises in that party end up getting accused of, there's a correlation here, is all I'm saying.
I understand.
And then the article claps back again, says, however, research suggests otherwise, with a 2025 study indicating that policing bathroom access can lead to mental distress in trans youth. Also, sexual assault. Like, the people that are by far studies showing more likely to be sexually assaulted in bathrooms are trans people.
Also, in my chat, I see Thrag said, never agreed with the trans kids thing, it's just not natural. Thrag, can you do me a favor, please? And everybody in my chat, shut the fuck up. If you're going to start trying to go off on people, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't change anybody's opinion. It doesn't help you. It only raises your blood pressure. I'm not talking to anybody specific, but I might be talking to Jessica Davis. So, I'm going to ask, real quick, Thrag, when you think of the term gender-affirming care for kids, or the trans kids thing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, define what that is for me. That would be a very helpful thing for you to do. We'll continue the show as normal while you do that, but when you say I don't agree with a thing, you first have to understand what that thing is. I am giving you the opportunity to explain what your understanding of the thing is.
And I have a trans child, so you get to argue with someone who's actually in the system for it.
Correct.
Duncan has his own doubts. I disagree with the integration of gender ideology and radical wokeism into the LGBT community. You are free. What do you think the T
What do you think woke means, you dipshit?
You are free to live under any delusion you so desire. You're not free to require me to live under your delusion as well, he says. But if somebody wants to live as a man or a woman, however it is, I firmly believe they have the right to do that. I would never get in the way of it. Except by voting for the people who want to outlaw.
Because I would never get in the way of it, but you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You actively tried to vote for the person who wants to make sure that this is not a thing people can do. You won't get in the way of it, but you will hire somebody to get in the way of it. Let me ask you, if I hire a hitman to kill a person, am I still responsible for that person's death? And I would argue, yes, the fuck I am. If you willingly and knowingly vote for a person who made it part of their goal, which group of people they are going to oppress, you hold a part and parcel responsibility for that oppression.
Did we get a definition of gender-affirming care from the guy in your chat?
Not yet.
Okay. Duncan also believes that education about LGBTQ people should be limited in schools. He sees adolescence as a fundamentally confusing time and believes that it's confusing, so the gay kids need to know what's going on with them. And believes that an education about LGBTQ communities would add on layers of confusion.
What? How? How does getting educated on that? You know what? I get it. I get it. They're really fucking stupid, and I don't have the crayons nor the slurs to explain how stupid they are to them. So, I understand why they think an education would be confusing. It all makes sense.
Yeah, so just for context, this morning I overheard my partner explaining the various aspects of LGBT stuff to the kid. Like, lesbian, gay, and bisexual is basically what she was explaining. And it's essentially, like, at the age they're at, it's just like, if a boy likes to date boys, the word for that is gay. If a girl likes to date girls, the word for that is lesbian. If you date boys and girls, it's bisexual. And then she was like, and Papa, he doesn't care about gender identity, so he's pansexual.
Yeah,
So
if the gender identity of the person is in fact a factor for you, for good or worse, then we can use the word bi. If the gender identity is a non-factor for you, we use the word pan. There's a lot of crossover between the two, but the distinction is in how you make the decision. Yeah,
and like obviously her kids are young enough that we're like she also talked a little bit about ace people. She did not get into the weeds about like, you know, there are ace people who are still romantic aces, so they like doing all the romance stuff, but keep the sex stuff away from it.
I mean, has she had the talk with the kid for that part of the conversation, or no?
No, the kids are too young for that sort of thing.
Then that makes sense that they didn't get what aces explained to them, because you have to have the talk for that.
Yeah, the way she explained it to them was basically like, there are some people that, you know, they might like to date people, but they're not interested in all the stuff like kissing and holding hands and
I see.
whatever. So, like, yeah, that is very oversimplified and not entirely correct. But, like, that's something that can be clarified later when they're old enough to have the sex talk.
It's the sun is a ball of fire versus a ball of plasma conversation. That's all it is.
And Matt Powell still thinks it's a ball of fire.
It's because Matt Powell's an idiot.
That he is. Okay. Back to this. Where
I feel really mean today. Is this what happens when I can't shower? I probably. Yeah.
I mean, you can't shower, and then we're reading an article that is, like, they are countering the bad points that they're making, but ultimately this does seem to be trying to get people to be a bit more sympathetic to the Republican gays.
I mean, I
just
wouldn't,
like, I don't have sympathy for them.
I wouldn't use the word sympathy, but I mean, I could use the word pity. I think pity works.
Pity. I could see pity.
I think pity works. Like, I feel bad that you lack the faculties to make good decisions. That is a bad thing, and it will hinder you in many parts of your life, and I wish I could improve that for you. But I lack the education to rehabilitate you.
Thank you for the hydrate, Novawinter. It's okay to tell kids that some boys like boys, some girls like girls, and some people like both, but it just needs to be kept vague and general, Duncan says. However you are is okay. We don't need to expose children to gay media, because if you're gay, you're going to know. Counterpoint.
What is the closet?
Hi!
There's plenty of people who don't figure that stuff out until way later because they got suppressed, actually.
I was, what, 30, 38, 39, something like that? Yeah, I think 38.
And we have all kinds of research on this. Again, I'm really sorry. I am so sorry that you are terminally uneducated, and it is terminal. I cannot help you. You will need a professional with far more expertise than me.
Mm-hmm. Duncan does not believe heteronormative bias in mainstream media is a problem, though a study published in Equity and Excellence in Education found heteronormative biases in schools may harm queer students.
That's so weird that professionals disagree with Republicans. That's so weird.
Is it though?
That's man,
that seems par for the course.
Man, sarcasm's cool. I love sarcasm, don't you?
Yeah. The vast majority of people are heterosexual, and a functioning society is built on a heteronormative bias, he says.
You have a child. Shut the fuck up, you dumbass.
It is important to understand that we are the extreme minority, and society is not responsible for conforming to us.
Counterpoint, when we are building society, we should build that society not to accommodate the most of us, but to accommodate the least of us. Because when we build it to accommodate the least of us, by that very nature, it accommodates everybody. When you install an elevator in an area so that people in wheelchairs can navigate that area better, inadvertently, you installed a fucking elevator and everybody's happy. Weird.
You put a ramp outside the person in the wheel. You put it there specifically for the person in the wheelchair, And now people with luggage and people with strollers and people with all sorts of wheeled things
When you put
can make use of it.
subtitles on your movie, you inadvertently help people who are completely neurotypical and do not have blindness or deafness or any other thing that could cause them issues, but they do struggle when the audio mixing of a movie is not very great. They struggle to parse out the things that are being said in the movie. You inadvertently end up helping that person just as much. Weird. Strange.
So I'm the weird ADHD person that I do not like subtitles, but that's because I get so caught up in reading the subtitles that I'm not looking at the movie. So like I miss a lot of the visual stuff going on in the movies if the subtitles are on.
Man, that is a level of weakness that I cannot claim to have, because Shin Godzilla was a fantastic film and it's only subbed.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not defending my position. I'm just like, this is why I don't use subtitles.
That's completely understandable. If you and I are watching a movie, I will have subtitles on.
And I won't complain about it, but don't expect me to have picked up on everything visual in the movie.
Wild. Okay. No, you got the plot then.
While LGBTQ Americans see the Republican Party as unfriendly towards queer people, Duncan and Doan aren't worried about being stripped of their rights. Duncan says the 2015 passage of gay marriage solidified his equal rights. We have marriage as gay men. I have every right that a straight man does, he says. For now.
Also,
that is a thing that is being actively targeted by the Republicans right now.
Also, real quick, can we parse out that specific sentence? Because I take umbrage with that sentence. Because if anybody here is familiar with the concept of a rich man and a poor man are both not allowed to sleep under a bridge, but only one of these people is affected by it. If you say the phrase, I have all of the same rights as a straight man. Okay, I can agree with that. If you are willing to accept that that phrase means you have the right to marry a woman. That means you have the exact same right. You're correct. But what's that you say? The woman is not the person you want to marry for gay reasons? Boy, that is unfortunate. Can't help you there, sport. You have all the rights we got you equal rights. You have all the rights of the straight man. You can marry the opposite sex and gender, just like the straight man, but not a hair further. You don't get extra rights, sir.
Doan also feels that his rights are secure under Trump 2.0 and approves of the president so far. I voted for that great, big, beautiful wall because we were being overrun by illegals, he says. Doan also approves of the U.S. interventions in Iran and Venezuela, though he criticizes Trump for leaving Venezuela way too soon.
So he doesn't like it when a foreign force invades your country and imposes its will on the country, and you believe that that is what's happening to our country, but you are okay with United States imperialism, which by its very definition is a country invading another country and imposing its will on that country. Man, this is a fundamentally broken person.
Yeah, seems that way. Similarly, Duncan is generally approving of Trump's handling of immigration. I don't love what we're doing as far as deportations, but we had to get some control over the illegal population, says Duncan. I wish there was another way, but I can't think of it.
I wish there was another way besides the camps for the Japanese people, but my God, they were all spies. Can't you see it in their eyes?
Huh. Okay.
I would have used the internment camps in Germany, but then I remembered that we fucking did that too.
So I think they've updated this article since I read it last, and my favorite quote from it is gone, but I did take a screenshot of it before. So let's oh, you can't see it. Fuck. Okay, anyway. My favorite quote from this article was, Duncan says he feels so unwelcomed by the LGBTQ community that he's hesitant to attend certain queer events. Nowadays, I would never go to a pride event, says Duncan told Uncloseted Media and Gay Times. I don't feel that I would be safe.
You would be safe. Nobody would make it unsafe for you. Nobody's gonna look at you and go, man, that guy's shirt's a little too tight. I bet he's a MAGA gay. That's not gonna fucking happen. You'll be fine. Shut the fuck up.
No, okay, that was. I wonder why it didn't get picked up in this thing. Anyway, there's another quote from Evan that I love. Evan doesn't identify with the community at large and does not like to be referred to as LGBTQ or queer. I realized I'm normal. I'm not LGBTQ, he says. I'm just gay.
You're right. You are normal, and queerness is, in fact, normal.
But, motherfucker, what does the G stand for in LGBTQ?
I don't identify as lesbian or gay. I'm just gay. Uh-huh. All right, listen here, Sir Gobblecocks. I think you need to understand... I think you need to understand how fucked your position is.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that article. That was,
Jesus Christ, thank you, Sylvie, for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it. After my very potentially homophobic statement.
Sir Gobblecocks?
Sir Gobblecocks. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.